Have you ever wondered why people around the world speak so many different languages? There's an ancient story in the Bible that tries to answer that question. A story about ambition, unity, pride, and a giant tower that changed everything. This is the story of the Tower of Babel. Long, long ago, after the great flood in Noah's time, people began to rebuild. They spread out across the earth, forming families, towns, and communities. But at first, they were all the same in one big way. Everyone spoke the same language. Imagine that. No matter where you went, you could understand anyone you met. No language barriers, no confusion, just pure, easy communication. As people traveled east, they came upon a flat land called Shinar. It was perfect for settling down. So they said, let's build a city, and not just a city. Let's build a tower that reaches all the way to the sky. This tower, they thought, would make them famous. It would keep them united. It would make sure they were never scattered again. So they got to work, brick by brick, rising higher and higher. Now this wasn't just about architecture. This tower symbolized something bigger. It was about human pride, about trying to reach heaven on their own terms. The people weren't thinking about God. They were thinking about themselves, how powerful they were, how clever, how unstoppable. But God saw what was happening, and he wasn't angry because they were building something big. He was concerned about where their hearts were headed. They were relying on their own strength instead of on him. They were trying to build a name for themselves rather than honoring the one who made them. So God decided to step in. Without warning, everything changed. The workers showed up one morning, just like any other day, ready to keep building. But suddenly, no one could understand each other. One person asked for a hammer, and the other handed him a brick. Another said, "Pass the mortar." But all he got was a confused look. It was like someone had scrambled their words overnight. Their sentences didn't make sense. Instructions got mixed up. Frustration grew. Chaos took over the construction site, and just like that, the project fell apart. With no way to communicate, the people began to drift apart. They gave up on the tower. They packed up and moved away, forming new groups based on the languages they could understand. They spread across the earth, just like God had originally intended. That unfinished tower was later called Babel, which sounds like the Hebrew word for confused. But this story isn't just about language. It's about pride and purpose. You see, the people wanted to reach heaven without God. They wanted control. They wanted fame. But they forgot the one who gave them life, breath, and each other. The Tower of Babel reminds us of something powerful. When we put ourselves above everything else, things start to fall apart. But when we stay humble, when we remember that we're part of something bigger than ourselves, and when we work with God rather than against him, something beautiful happens. Today we live in a world filled with different languages, cultures, and customs. But deep down we all share something in common: a longing for meaning, a desire to be known, and a need to connect with each other and with the one who made us. The story of Babel is ancient, but its message is timeless. Let me